What if these 5 steps could help anyone overcome any basic human fear and achieve self-confidence? Every person watching this is running from something, whether it's the quiet panic of financial ruin, the trap of playing small because you're terrified of what people will think, or the anxiety of losing the people closest to you. Fear is the ultimate silent killer of your ambition. Napoleon Hill states that fear is the major reason most people fail to reach their chief aim. And fear is the reason many people don't even have an aim in life. What's up, guys? We are on week 3 of our journey through Napoleon Hill's Law of Success, where we're not only reading, but applying the principles in real time and really examining and asking, do these principles still hold up in 2026? Welcome to Just the Guys podcast. We are classic men changing the world. I'm Logic, and I'm joined today by Gimpy and Soldiers of Finance. Reason has the Do Funny flu, and CT right now is taking a break because his channel got he did something stupid. But we're not only here just to entertain, guys. We want to have fun, but we also want to inspire you to succeed in whatever your endeavors are. So we want to really just definitely be an inspiration to you. But what's up, fellas, man? How you guys doing tonight?
Good. How you doing, man?
Man, I am doing wonderful. It's been a great week, excellent week. Celebrated my birthday, and I had my family up in town, and I'm gonna share a little bit more about that later. But yeah, it's been a great week.
I just want to say I'm sorry that your aunt loves me more than you know.
That's debatable. That's debatable. But she does love. She definitely does love you. But yeah, it's I don't know if I have competition yet.
Well, so your friend is massive, dude.
Man, did you see the picture I posted on Facebook? And that wasn't even all the cousins, man. That was just
No, that's just who came up.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
you are originally from South Carolina, is that it?
No, I was born here in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was up. So my mom's from Baltimore, and all my mom's side of the family is from the city. And then once my mom got married, we're the only ones that moved to South Carolina.
Got you. Okay.
Well, actually, but my aunt moved to Kentucky. She moved to Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
I got some land out there.
Nice.
All right, guys, but let's get into this. Before we get into the 5-step formula, let's cover the basic fears first, because Napoleon Hill kind of laid out 6 basic fears, and I just want to go through them, because the first thing I want to ask you guys is which one of these basic fears applies to you the most, and which ones are you actually dealing with and working through. But the first fear is the fear of poverty. And this is really driven by the financial distrust or money worship, right? When people either take advantage of you to take your money, or your desire just to get money, or, to worship money, basically. And the second one is the fear of old age. It's really just driven by the dread of poverty, like running out of money at an old age, or, this future that doesn't exist, right? The third fear is the fear of criticism. And this is really driven by public opinion and the need to blend in. And, I'm going to dig deeper into this one, because that's the one that really got me. And then number 4 is the fear of the loss of love. And it's driven either by jealousy or severe mental anxiety. And 5 is the fear of ill health. It's driven by the worry of physical decline. And number 6, let me go back. Sorry. Number 6 is the fear of death, which is driven generally by religious fanaticism or the unknown. So, guys, when you look at these 6 basic fears, which one of them really applied to you, Gimpy? Like, which one kind of applied to you the most?
Fear of poverty. Any of the other ones I experience is tied to the money aspect of it, for sure. I always worry about paying bills, meeting ends meet, all that. That's my biggest fear every day.
Yeah. So I guess how have you observed that? Like, is it like, how did you, I guess, come to that? How do you observe that in your life?
I mean, So in terms of the book, like while reading the book and being presented with these fears, it easily is distinguishable for me to say that I fear poverty the most, but just from what I know about myself. Like I said, my biggest concern every day is because I have to take care of more than just myself, my whole household. I worry about paying those bills like that. Like getting old, I'm afraid of getting old before I have enough money. If I lose love, like, yeah, that's great. Like, not great, but I mean, like, that's not one of the fears. I'm sorry, I've been married more than one. Like, this is the second time I've been married. I've had a marriage that fails. Even though he's trying to say loss of love through death, still, I'm not like that's not a big one. Ill health is because I don't have enough money. If I'm sick, right? Like, and that's all I got to worry about. Not that maybe, it could be that it's not the end of the world. What makes it the end of the world is when you can't afford it. Fear of criticism. I mean, dude, you've met me in real life. I wore a black and gold shirt to your white party. I'm
Man,
not
yeah,
really worried about criticism. And fear of death, dude, I'm sorry. True, like religious Jews shouldn't fear death. Like if you have a traditional connection to Jewish background, you shouldn't fear death. It's part of the cycle, man. You have no control over it. There's no point in fear. Like, so again, for me, any fear I have of the other five is tied to is my point, right? Like if I fear death, it's because there won't be enough behind for Yana.
Yeah. All right, right on, man. So have you done anything, or what have you done to address those fears, like, or either before reading the book?
Make sure the house is paid off, invest, insurance. I don't know, make sure my 401k grows. So when I pass on, there's something there, or when I'm sick, there's something there, but it's what it is, man. Never enough money, sadly.
Yeah.
Baseballs too, the search for more money.
Now, does that appear in any other areas? Like when you think about fear of poverty, like when outside of the monetary aspect, is there anything from like either a spiritual element or anything else? It's like, man, I fear being poor of spirit or
No,
poor.
dude, I'm never going to be spiritually poor. The Lord is with me. Like, again, like that's poverty. What he's talking about in this book is purely materialistic. That it's having the equatable cash money to pay your bills. He's very clear. Like, I'm sorry, like in the terms of it. So I aligned, me. I think this white man is a very pompous, over the top, artistic fluff writer. But there are a few things I definitely agree with. And his concept of how money is, it's a tool, and there's just never enough. And we're always in that perpetual. I mean, I know, and I'm willing to say, I know that I live as that's my primary fear. No matter how much money I have, no matter, could all be gone tomorrow, man. It's fleeting. I mean, Captain Robert April over here will tell you that no matter how much money you have and no matter how much you try and protect it, one bad day can wipe it all out.
Yeah. So shout out to everybody in the chat, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Shout out to Kung Fu CJ, man. Happy birthday, bro. And it says your birthday is tomorrow. But I see a couple of people. Scrapping Beauty says the fear of fear of ill health she had to pick. Somebody said fear of the blacks. It's JOP. He black. But welcome Reason to the show. He's decided to join in with us. What's up, Reason? Tell him say hi.
What's going on, man? We can't hear you.
Yeah.
You think you're on mute.
Yeah, you got to fix your mic, brother.
Showed up with no sound, dude.
You got to fix your mic.
Serious, man. Serious.
Come on. But so soldiers, man, out of those 6 basic fears, man, which one applies to you the most, or which one like kind of drives your subconscious?
Well, 6, the fear of criticism and the fear of death do not faze me at all. Got to agree with part of what Gimpy said. It's interesting because a lot of people are adherents to a faith tradition. Everybody thinks they're going to heaven, but nobody is comfortable with death. Okay, which is how you would get there. Okay.
Yeah.
Some other interesting ideas around it. according to a lot of people in the world today, and it has nothing to do with political affiliation. It actually crosses political lines. Heaven's going to be a very segregated place if these people have anything to say about it, you know. But I would agree that the fear of poverty, and okay, I'm careful about saying this because you know a lot of people try to romanticize struggle. All right. And I'm not trying to do that here. The reality of it is that we grew up without a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
But when you say poverty, there are other forms of it outside of the monetary poverty. And I tell you, my grandmother used to always say, "We're rich in love," and we were. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized how valuable that was.
Yeah.
Okay, I had a girlfriend, and I thought somebody said she had been in a car accident. Okay. And she had been, but it wasn't as bad as we thought. So I went to her grandmother's house and I said, have you seen her? And her grandmother said, unsolicited, man, her grandmother said, I don't care about her at all.
Mm.
And that was like, that was like, whoa, right? And so I got to see that that was the first time that kind of broke my naivete. And I got to see that every family was not like ours.
Mm.
Okay. So I would say fear of poverty, of not just a financial, but of, you could put it on the other one, love too. Okay. And you know, I don't want to repeat. I think Gimpy said a lot of things that I totally agree with. You can't move. You can't realize your ambitions for the most part in society today without money.
Yeah.
Okay. We are like, it's just like cheetahs on the Serengeti, right? They cannot realize their full potential unless they go get a gazelle every day. Okay. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And our gazelle is some form of monetary compensation.
Yeah. So you're saying you're the out of the 6 basic fears, right? The one that I guess affects you the most is the fear of poverty.
Yes. Yes. But understand that I'm also kind of taking from that other one and lumping in a poverty or a scarcity of love.
Yeah.
As well.
And that's what I was kind of asking Gimpy, is this fear, is just it solely monetary, or is it something that exists in maybe other forms? And I understand from the book, but I'm just saying from an application perspective, right? Because you kind of want to broaden it into you know your own interpretation. And we've had this conversation on multiple episodes that the law of success doesn't necessarily mean money, but the one of the greatest measures of this is money, but it also applies to other areas such as family, such as love, such as health, and all those other things. So soldiers, from what you're saying, the fear of the poverty of love in that aspect is one of your greatest fears.
I would say I would agree to that. Yes.
Yep. I feel like he separates it by talking about the loss of love. Mm-hmm. He has a category for love, I feel, right? Like I feel he wants it to, like in the fear aspect at least, because I don't disagree overall that his whole thing is success is more than wealth, like physical and monetary wealth. I agree with that. What I'm saying here in this fear stuff, I feel like he makes loss of love, fear of loss of love, as some uniquely separate category. So, right. So like, I would say that you are affected by 2 of the 6 that, and not one, you know what I mean? In terms of the 6, what you're saying, Tyrone.
No, you're right. You're right. And I would say, cause you just kind of crystallized it for me. So at the top there is the poverty and love. I don't fear.
Oh man, I can't count. Hold on. I got to change that.
I don't fear.
Dude, you're awful.
Yeah.
Not only can you not count, you stutter.
I don't fear old age. I do fear. So it's degrees. At the top of it is poverty and love. Don't fear criticism or death at all. And in the middle is illness, and to a lesser degree. Because you know that illness part, man, you can have all the money in the world.
Yep.
Okay. If you have that illness part, you know, and you got pain dominates the consciousness, you know.
Dang. It's
Yeah,
better
but
now.
if you don't have money, man, and
There
you're
we
sick.
go.
No, there you
I
go.
thought it was me. Okay. Thank you.
My bad, guys. See, man, I wait till y'all get to mine. But go ahead. I appreciate that, soldiers, man. But welcome, Reason. Welcome to the show, man. So again, if you're just joining us, we are doing a live experiment with the law of success. We are examining, do these principles, this law still work in 2026? And I don't know if anybody else, I don't really care if anybody else is doing it, but I am doing it in real time. And I encourage everyone to join with me. But if it's just me by myself, I'm more than happy to do this. But with that said, Reason, which one of the 6 basic fears applies to you the most?
The only one I really first, good evening, everyone. Sorry I'm late, but you know, I had to. Yeah, so the fear of ill health is really the only one that I really worry about ever. I'm not worried about. I don't fear death at all. I don't fear old age. I don't fear criticism. Love is, you know what do they usually say? You know what, if you truly love someone, yet you can let them go. So I don't really fear that. The fear of poverty in the aspect of, so I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. If you actually Google that right now, the west side of Louisville, Kentucky, you'll see and people say Baltimore is impoverished, you know. But if you look at the west side of Louisville, Kentucky, right up on the Ohio River, you'll see what true actual poverty looks like. It's really, really bad there now. So I guess everyone's poverty is subjective. And when it comes to, it's just this, yeah, out of all of it, probably it would be the ill health aspect of it, because you guys all know me and I talk about blues owners a lot. I talk about the people that live the longest. You can't take money with you.
So why is ill health why would you say ill health is the one that drives you the most?
Because I've seen it. For people that know me, both of let me see, my wife's mother passed at 55, her sister passed at 37. That's something that has always been important to me. So because of that, that's something that I pay an inordinate amount of attention to, and I know I'm not that good at it. So I mean, there's some, like, you know, the whole eating aspect, working out, Logic, you are a 100% like influence, and I look at you and I'm like, dude, yeah, okay, you know, you inspire me to do more of that. The eating aspect I pretty much have down, but that is what I am afraid of the most. I know that if I am not well, all that other stuff doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm unhealthy, I can't work to take care of my. They'll look at me and they'll say, "Oh my God, look, Dad doesn't take care of himself," or all of that good stuff. So the very first thing for me always is how healthy you are, how you can take care of yourself, because that is one of the things, in my opinion, that leads to true freedom.
Yeah,
being strict and disciplined in how you take care of yourself. So yeah, that's 100%.
So what have you done to address it so far?
Let me see. The first, I was before my accident, I was walking around at 210 pounds. That was 2016. I got back, and that was car accident, broke my leg, hadn't walked for an entire year and all that. Before that, I was walking around at 210 pounds. I'm down now to 194. My healthiest weight, based on my bone density and organs and all that, is 185. So if I can get that 10 pounds down and stay consistent in the aspect of what I eat and all of that good stuff, I should be all right.
Right on. Shout out to Positive Vibes or Lena with the $5 super chat. I feel death the most, or I fear death the most. I fear dying before I meet my goals, like seeing my daughter graduate or before becoming a nurse. Illness would be next, and that's powerful. Thanks for sharing. Go ahead.
Can I say something about that? What you just said, positive vibes. You know, all my wife used to say to me often. She's like, "I need you to be here to walk both of our girls down the aisle." So stuff like that, considering the fact that especially we as men, you know, we deal with heart disease the most. We deal with all of this, you know, stuff, the pressure and the stresses of the world. We have to take care of ourselves. So that's why that's and I'll digress, but that's why that's the first thing.
And I think that's why illness is a fear for many, because the reality of it is, you know, it doesn't really matter how well you take care of yourself. Illness, we have a very good friend. I'm cooking on the grill yesterday, and my wife comes out. She says, "So and so died," and I'm like, what? And so was in her mid-50s, and in I mean, worked out. Okay, mid-50s. You would think early 40s. Okay, if you saw this person, boom. Okay, an accident can leave you in a debilitated condition. So I think the unpredictability of and our lack of control over when we meet our demise or whether we get some illness. Like, for example, my wife eats very well. Okay, like my mother. My mother was very fastidious about her diet. And she used to always say to me, you need to eat better. And I would say to her, you know where we both are going to be in 100 years? And she would laugh about that. Okay. And although my mother had, for ever since I was conscious of what a diet was, my mother ate well. The family joke was she'll eat mixed vegetables with everything.
Yeah.
My mother got ovarian cancer and, you know, checked out of here. So the unpredictable nature of it is, I think, what has us, it gives us some degree of apprehension.
Absolutely. So if the one that got me the most, and shout out to Scrapping Beauty with the $5 super check. I worked in hospice. I seen the hardest men and women suffer from their mom's suffering. I want it quick. My girls deserve better. Now, too bad we don't get to make those decisions, you know.
Right.
You know, but I understand that.
You do in Canada.
Actually, we have a living will here. You kind of do get to make those decisions.
Well, I mean, but shout out to anybody that's worked in hospice, man. Like that, that is a gift. If there is one, if there's like, that is a gift to do that. You know, you're just around people deteriorating all the time. And you know, I remember when my wife's aunt, you know, I call her my aunt too, and she inspired me a lot when she was in hospice. And you know, I was just talking to the ladies there, like how do you do this? And you know, they would see it as a blessing and again, like as a gift, because they are able to provide some level of comfort as much as they can as this person is going towards resting, so to speak. So I don't know. It's a gift to me. I don't know. But back to the 6 basic fears and what mine is. Napoleon Hill actually shared a story in this chapter, and I actually want to read this part because this one really hit me hard, right? So it's in the Law of Success, talking about, and I'm gonna just read it. So here's a man who has been well schooled and has the ability to render the world some needed service. Somewhere, sometime, he has heard it said that modesty is a great virtue, and that to push himself to the front of the stage in the game of life savors of egotism. He quietly slips in the back door and takes a seat at the rear while others play in the game of life, boldly step to the front He remains in the back row because he fears what they will say. Public opinion, or which he believes to be public opinion, has him pushed to the rear, and the world hears but little of him. His schooling counts for naught because he is afraid to let the world know that he has had it. He is constantly suggesting to himself, thus using the great force of autosuggestion to his own detriment, that he should remain in the background lest he be criticized, as if criticism would do him any damage or defeat his purpose. So, guys, the fear of criticism has been my biggest fear out of all of these. And because I feel like I do have like a lot of ideas, and sometimes I feel like I need to have the answer before I ask questions instead of asking questions, because I feel like when I ask you the question, people are going to say, oh, you're just dumb. You're just dumb for not knowing it. Why don't you know that? That was stupid. It's crazy to me. Like, this really hit me like a ton of bricks going through this, because like the fear of criticism is my biggest fear. I don't know why. But yeah, fear of criticism.
You went through, correct me if I'm wrong, you went through 12 years of classroom style school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, elementary through.
Yeah. 12 years.
Yeah.
Because that's where most people get that from.
Yeah.
The apprehension around being wrong. That's why you see a lot of people criticize when Elon Musk's rockets explode.
Yeah.
You hear a raft of criticism.
Yep.
Yet what those actually are, depending on your perspective, are learning experiences.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the beginning, he had a whole bunch of rockets blow up. He got a whole bunch of criticism. And now his company is literally catching rockets in a controlled descent out of midair.
Yeah.
Something the world has never seen before, because he doesn't give a shit about criticism. And he knows that failure is a learning experience.
Yeah. So there's two elements of this particular fear that I think got to me. One is the whole idea of modesty, right? I thought like there's this element of being of nobility and being modest. Like I have my own car, right? I drive, and granted, so what happened was I bought my wife a car.
Right.
And her,
he has his own car, ladies and gentlemen.
and her car, right? And her old car, like I just took and started driving, right? So I bought my wife a new car. She can take the new car, and I'm gonna take the the older car or whatever. And this is where this whole idea of modesty comes up, is because I was out cleaning my car today, and I was thinking, like, there was a time where the presets in the seats, I would put myself as number 2 in my car. Think about that.
Goes with that questionable beverage you were drinking earlier. You see a pattern emerging.
But I mean, you're married, right? So you're giving your wife a little deference.
No,
Dude,
man.
Don't make him feel better about himself.
No.
Dude,
I'm
he's
not
drinking the girly drinks. He's number 2 in his own car. At this point, we already know, man. We already know.
But do you see, like so like this whole idea of these fears, though, you think you're being modest. Oh man, the people would like me because oh man, I don't put myself first.
Were you being modest, or were you being courteous?
No, that is no, I was being modest, or allegedly being modest.
See, dude, this is why being Jewish gives you an advantage. The whole world hates you to begin with. You're not really worried very much about what other people think anymore. When you know that all it is hate, you just adjust really quickly, man. I'm sorry, like, that's a thing. For me, I don't have an issue with criticism. I take criticism all day. Every job, every place you go, all you hear is people complaining to you. If criticism is really going to bother you, you're going to end up like these guys who are stressed out That's not for me, man. Friday, I went to work, had meetings while I lifted, right? When it was done, solved all my problems for the whole day before noon, walked the dogs 2 miles, took a sunbath for an hour, and then, you know, it was beer o'clock. That's stressful enough for me, man. That worrying about what everyone else has to say, that's not for me, man. It's not. Like, that's the worst thing people can get caught up in, is what it, because you never, what's the saying, Tyrone? You can only please some of the people some of the time, but you can never please all of the people, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm sorry, man. No one's ever going to be happy. You're going to do it perfect. It's gonna be the most gorgeous thing you ever created, and 5 people can walk up to you and spit on it. It's just how it goes.
It's just like in politics. The reality is, at least 49% of the people are going to be pissed off no matter what you do.
Yep.
So,
And half the people are going to hate on you just because you're succeeding.
That's true too.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, so the fear, and again, I'm just applying this in real time, right? And just self-evaluating that my observation about me is the fear of criticism. I did grow up as an A student, right? So I made straight A's growing up, and I didn't want to get anything wrong on a test. So I think that played into it. Then I saw there was a book called "Why Do A Students Work for C Students" by Robert Kiyosaki, which, you know, speaks to that principle. And then I've been fortunate enough to be around a lot of, you know, very influential and successful people. And I think the other element that kind of plays into it is I don't want to let people down. And I think that's another element of it. I just don't want to let people down. But it also kind of is a paralyzing behavior, I've just noticed. And, you know, hopefully through this process, we see a transformation in myself. I'm actually starting to observe some things from when we first started this to even now, to be even doing this. Like, even we started this series and I actually wanted to stop it like after week 2. Like after last week, I was like, man, I don't want to do this. But because just, you know, I don't know how you guys have been with us so far, but, you know, some of these episodes have been terrible, but I appreciate you. But it's just overcoming that fear, man.
Some of the episodes we've been doing in the last few weeks about this, you believe that?
I mean, I think they didn't have really any structure.
Like that, he had to throw CT off. He's still all upset about that.
Here's the other thing. So you got to be very careful that the search for perfection can be paralyzing, and it can prevent you from really achieving your goals. You got to throw actions out there.
Yep.
And you have to be cognizant of the fact that you're not perfect. And yeah, a year from now, something you did today is going to look different. So this constant criticism,
it's terrible, dude.
Yeah.
You know that perfect is the enemy of good, right?
Yeah.
There is an actual phrase for the psychological nonsense bouncing around in your head. Perfect is the enemy of good. You can't achieve perfection on earth, man. The religious are okay with that, man. That's one of the things. Look, you want to hate on religious folk? One of the best things about faith is you don't care about the things you can't control. Your faith covers it. You're going to die. Your faith covers that. What am I supposed to do? Faith tells me it's coming, no matter what. It's a day, whatever my faith tells me. There are going to be horrible things that happen to you that seem totally arbitrary and whatever, but just have faith that it's part of a bigger plan. Dude, faith covers you for all that stuff. That's why the only fear that it can't cover you is money, because money is a tool with practical ends. All the rest of it is lotto, is rolling the dice. When you're going to die, whether you're going to get sick. Yep. Dude, I'm in the best shape of my life. 46 years old. I smoked a pack a day. Cigarettes, when I smoke cigarettes, the whole 9. And every time I go for a physical, my doctor is blown away by the numbers he sees. Dude. I blow guys my age out of the water comparatively if you look my labs against theirs. It's not like I live an ideally healthy life,
Yeah.
but I get hurt. I blew out my shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't like that, dude. All that stuff I couldn't control for it. All of it is arbitrary. I'm just saying, like, dude, faith covers for all that. The only thing you can't cover for is paying the bills, because that's a practical thing. You got to pay those bills to have that baseline security, right? You got to pay rent to have a roof over your head.
Yep.
But outside of that, all that arbitrary shit, faith covers you instantly, because it's not my choice. It's out of my hands the whole time. I'm riding with Jesus at the wheel, right? Like that, isn't that what they say?
Yeah. Shout out to Lena with the $2 super chat. Would you say also a fear of failure? Who wants to take that one?
Well, I mean, Napoleon Hill doesn't believe in that question.
What about you?
That's auto-suggesting something that, like, the word failure can't be in your lexicon.
Well,
You
I
can't
think
fear failure.
all 6 of those encompass some level of fear of failure,
Mm-hmm.
especially the one you were just talking about, criticism.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You don't want to be perceived as failed, you know.
Ooh, that's a good point.
So I think she has a point that, you know, and you although death and illness are out of our control, as Gimpy said earlier, you know, leaving this world without having your family prepared, okay, is something that a lot of people worry about. And if you have those worries, log on to healthwealthlink.com. We can help you insure your family for less. And I'm serious about that.
That's a shameless plug. But you know what? Quite frankly,
Hey, turn your mic down. Turn your mic down just a little bit.
now it's
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Just slightly, man.
It's one thing to
Is that
be
better?
muted and unmute yourself, sir. It's another thing to turn your mic all the way up and have reverb through the universe.
okay. So yeah, I'm sorry. This new wire apparently is incredible. No, so about that though, it's, you know, buying a house is not really God. Buying a house is a down payment and a good credit score. You know what I mean? I'm sitting here and I'm listening to what's going on with him. Okay.
I think his camera did something.
Dude, he's acting up. I'm sitting here and I'm listening to what was just being said about the whole aspect of taking care of taking care of family and being and having the fear of that. You know, taking care of family is or leaving something for family is really just going to see someone like the Cisco and saying, "Hey, I want to take out a term for 50 years." Like that's really, I mean, some of these things that when I hear about the aspect of family, I'm like, dude, it's just a lot of it's just making a choice, coming up with something, making a choice and doing it. 19 years ago, I said, you know what? I want to make sure that if anything happens to, you know what, me, my wife, my daughter, or daughter at the time, now 2 daughters, are going to be okay. This was like the 2nd year of marriage. I'm like, you know what? Let's just get a really big insurance policy. You know what I'm saying? That's how you take care of, even if, I'm just saying that some of the things that we would probably consider.
Where are you going with this, Rita?
That's well, I'm landing the plan now.
Okay.
Some of these things that we really think we probably fear are quite frankly just us not saying this is something we could do to rectify that. You know what I mean? It's really, we wouldn't fear stuff. We wouldn't quite frankly fear any of this stuff if we came into creating systems that would prevent us from creating systems that would prevent us from going through half the stuff that would make us fear this stuff. I wouldn't fear love if I put a system out there that would help me not do it. I wouldn't fear getting sick if I created a proper system that helped me do the things that I needed to do to stay healthy. I wouldn't fear half this stuff. It's just creating systems and actually working on those systems. I truly believe that.
Okay.
And
I might have to
as a
cut
matter
that
of
part
fact,
out.
Well, fuck it. Fuck it. I really don't care. So I mean, and quite frankly,
Oh, God.
again,
Dude, you froze in like the.
yeah, I'm sitting here like, what? And quite frankly, fear, believe it or not, is the one thing that
The
Bible
only thing we have to
the
fear
most.
is fear itself. I'm sorry.
Fear is the only thing that's in the Bible that's talked about the
Yeah, it
most.
is. Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
Like it's
right,
literally
right.
don't fear is talked
Right.
about the most.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So I don't know why.
yeah.
Is it which one's
All right,
talked
let me-
about the most, money or fear in the Bible?
Fear.
Do not fear is
do
talked
not
about the
fear.
most.
Yeah.
But how many times is money mentioned in the Bible? Because there's
Respect is mentioned also.
what was that?
Respect is another thing that mentioned at the man. For every time fear is mentioned, the word respect is also mentioned. Those are parallel words in the Bible.
Yeah.
You'll see it in the Old Testament. But anyhow,
All right. So we talked a little bit about the fears, but is it possible to overcome? Like, can you truly eliminate them, or are these things that you just have to be? Or you have like an affinity to maybe one or two of them? Like you have like a kind of conditioned in one of these to one of them, and you have to live with it but manage it. Like, can you truly overcome fear, or is it something that you just have to consciously manage?
Fear. Let's also discuss the fact that fear is a biological defense mechanism. Okay. Now, without fear, the human species would have stopped existing a long time ago. Fear is, in some aspects, a motivator for you to do things that you have to do. So, yeah, it looks a lot different than when fear told us to, wake up periodically throughout the night to be aware of predators. Now that fear manifests in what we've all said, uh, an economic based fear,
Mm-hmm.
because it is the key to survival in the modern Western world. Um, so yeah, we eliminating fear. I don't think that's a good idea.
Mm. Well, so in the law of success, he kind of um, delineates two types of fears. He says one is a physical fear, of being, physically attacked. Like that's kind of the way we inherit some of these fears. But the other fears are kind of societal, social, and socially placed on us, right? So, the fear of poverty, for example, just, we have a monetary system and you can either have or have not, right? The fear of, well, the fear of death. I mean, we none of us getting out of here, but the fear of criticism, right? How
All
was
of us are
someone
getting out of here,
conditioned to, I mean, yeah, well, yeah,
not
none of,
alive.
yeah, none of us are getting out of here alive, right? That's what I meant. But the fear of criticism, right? How are you socially conditioned to get that fear, right? The fear of death, right, is oftentimes from the church. Fear of criticism for me was something like schooling, or just not wanting to put ideas out there. Fear of loss of love is, men. It makes a point in the book that men are polygamous by nature, and one of the fears that men have in general is their wives or their love interest being taken or stolen, whether you're in high school or, married, right? So there's a difference, or that there's that delineation of the types of fears. So some of them are physical, and that's what you're talking about, in the wild, right? But then the social or societal fears is more or less what are you able to overcome? I'm
Well,
asking.
I
Yeah.
don't think that in a capitalist Western modern society, I don't think most people are going to overcome the fear of poverty.
Yeah.
You see that on both sides of the spectrum. So there are people out there are very, very entrepreneurial. There are people out there who exist below the poverty line, and they're trying to make things happen. Uh, Everybody's trying to get as far away from scarcity as possible. Okay. And again, that's healthy. That is healthy for our society, because it causes people to come up with ideas for commerce and also get up in the morning and go to work. So, but nonetheless, I do link it to the same type of fear that the species experienced early on.
Yeah.
Because it's about survival.
Yep. Yeah. Go ahead, Gimpy.
I think you misunderstand Mr. Hill's explanation of fear on a fundamental level.
Well, help me.
I think you're missing his point. He's not saying that you overcome fear by conquering it, that you no longer feel fear. Yeah, and in fact, he doesn't want you to ever give up any emotion.
That's my discussion point. Is like, can it be overcome? I don't think this is in the book at all.
That's not what he's asking you. That's not what he's saying.
No, that's what I'm asking. This is what I'm asking.
But again, look, dude, I'm a literary academic. If you're gonna make me read a fucking book and then grill me on topics about it, I'm going to stick to all my responses being revolving around the words I read in the chapter, sir. And like, you're the teacher, I'm the student in that sense. So you're going to get answers based on what you made me read. So I will point out that to your question, the author doesn't think that is necessary. To achieve success, the author is telling us that we have to learn how to manage it through he uses auto-suggestion. We call it self-actualization. He gives you tactics and methodology on how to trick yourself to get beyond your fear. Why? Because his conception of fear is one that cripples you. It's not just a fear. We're like, to Tyrone's benefit, what he's saying as the next lieutenant governor of Maryland is that a certain amount of fear is a healthy thing. It keeps us alive and keeps us from getting hit by buses and falling down open elevator shafts and shit like that, right? And getting eaten by a bear. But Mr. Hill doesn't want that fear to capitulate at a point where you're just now frozen by it. Meaning your fear of making money and not having enough money creates a scarcity in your mind that you now live in this, I will never have enough money, therefore I'm broke. So you'll have a broke mindset and be broke because you self-actualized yourself through fear into brokenness instead of wealth. And his whole mentality is to use that fear as a healthy motivator, to turn it in and actualize as that I'm going to be rich. I'm not going to, right? Like if I'm worried about money, so then it's, I wake up every morning not saying I'm worried about money. It's today I'm going to make money, right? The crackhead doesn't say I'm not going to smoke crack today. He gets up and he finds his nickel bag money, right? Just like everyone else. That's the mentality I'm saying, that you have to pick to win. And that's what Napoleon Hill wants you to do. He doesn't want you to remove fear from your life. He wants it to be that it can't cripple you because you use it to turn the power of suggestion into wins. I mean, that's where I think you get by asking.
So do you agree with that? So do you agree with that personally?
Yeah, of course. That concept of persist. I said it previously. Go watch The Founder. It's everywhere in all self-help all the time. You hear this one word, persistence, right? If you're going to do something over and over, and he talks about repetition in this chapter, and I'm sure you're going to get into that as a method to this level of, but persistency is a form of repetition, excuse me. Yeah. But again, my point is if your question ultimately is, can you get over it? Then I don't think you're not picking up what he's laying down. He's laying down that it's not about getting over it. It's about using it to create an auto-suggestion that actualizes victory and not failure. He's not telling you to remove it. He's telling you to manage it in a way that turns it into a success. At least that's my interpretation. I am only one man, but that's what I was trying to say, where I feel is the basis of the question is missing his point.
So, Reason, where do you land on that, man? Do you believe fear can be overcome, or is this something you have to live with and manage?
I believe, quite frankly, that anything can be overcome. And in this aspect, the repetition, as Gimpy was talking about, I said that's something when we first started this that's biblical. I mean, really, I go into work every single day. I look at my affirmations that I have on my door, and I repeat them. And I look at myself and I'm like, yes, this is going to be better than the day before. And I'm going to have no problems with this. And everything that I can control, and blah, blah. And I do every single day. And that's, I mean, forefront aspect of it, as in like front cerebral cortex, but on the back end, in going to bed at night, I listen to binaural beats at a theta brainwave pattern because I'm trying to get good rest. Or if I'm studying, I'm listening to alpha brainwave patterns because I know that's how that works, you know? So yeah, if you can be repetitious in the thing that you fear, and the opposing side of that, absolutely. How do you get rid of being afraid of heights? You climb something high. How do you get rid of being of the fear of swimming? You put on some gear and then jump into the deep end. It's really okay, quite frankly, to, and I've said this often before as well, having to do with my girls, fail in a structured environment. It's okay to do that. Set something up, create a system that you can allow yourself to actually just do something over and over and over again till your brain starts to look differently about it or see things differently about it. And that's doable. Yes.
So you are the belief that the fear can be overcome and not simply just managed.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like I said, again, biblically speaking, fear is one of the things that's talked about the most. Do not be afraid. I also understand what you're talking about, Gimpy. That is two completely different aspects of fear. The Bible is saying one thing in this aspect. Napoleon Hill is saying something else, and I get that. But
yeah, that's fine.
But in the answer to Logic's question that he just put out, absolutely. I think anything that we're afraid of, and this might seem kind of controversial in the Christian aspect of it, but anything we're afraid of, we can beat without having to like pray it out of us, or we can beat without having to like, I think beating fear isn't necessarily a spiritual thing. I think beating fear is more of a psychological thing, quite frankly. And again, some fears are necessary. Like you need to be up sometimes to, if you're living in West Baltimore, sometimes you might need to be afraid a little bit. You know what I mean? That's important. But
so Gimpy wanted to respond to you.
Sure.
Oh no, I just want to point out, like the Bible is filled with all sorts of times where it tells you to fear. And like, because you were trying to use your Bible thing as the Bible says, don't be afraid. I'm sure it says plenty of don't be afraid, but it definitely directs you to be afraid. In fact, one of the key elements is again, wherever it's trying, like wherever you can find fear, you can find respect in a mirror statement somewhere else, because it's a balance. Fear and respect are the two things that go hand in hand throughout the Old Testament. Like the example is God tells you to respect your father and your mother. But then in the second time when it talks about it, it says you should fear your mother and your father. In opposite, because there's purpose to that, because the way the world works, it identifies that respect is given easily to those that love you. Whereas fear is it's hard to be afraid of those who are kind to you. You see it as weakness, so it's harder to be free. You know, you can perceive it as weakness, so you have a harder time being afraid. That's why it tells you to respect your father and then your mother, and it tells you to fear your mother.
It does not. It does not tell you to fear your mother and father. It says honor.
Yes, it's in the Torah, in the Old Testament, 100%. It says, because it says honor your father and your mother in one spot, because the father goes first, because the father is harder to honor because he's disciplined, whereas the mother is love, and it's easier to love. Side note for Bible lesson. And then there's another part later in Numbers where it says Ishimo ve'aviv tirahu. A man should fear his mother and his father. Why? Because the mother is harder to fear because she is love, and the father is easier to fear because he is discipline, he is law. I mean, it's
do not fear. Do not fear is the most by far mentioned phrase. It is mentioned 365 individual times.
Yes, it is
in the Bible.
Okay, I'm just telling you, they direct you to be afraid as well. And you're using the New Testament combined with the Old
No,
Testament, yeah?
I'm using the
Yeah, I'm
Bible.
only using
Bible.
I'm
The
only
Bible.
using the Old Testament.
Okay. Well, I think Reason and I
I'm
have been very
look,
clear that
again,
we're
I'm
using
not,
the
I'm just
Bible.
making clear my difference.
Hey, that's fine. That's
Okay.
fine.
All right, so
Yeah, my
we have some say that
Excuse me.
oh bless you. So some that say where do you guys land in the chat? You know, can you truly overcome fear, or is it something that you that you live with and manage? Now I do want to move into the formula that Napoleon Hill gives when it comes to building self-confidence, because really what happens is, you know, when you living in fear, it does lead to lower self-confidence, and self-confidence is the key of this lesson in order to achieve success. So whatever your chief aim is, there has to be a level of self-confidence that you have in order to achieve that. The first element of the self-confidence formula, I labeled this as belief in activity. So the first is repeating to yourself, I know that I have the ability to achieve the object of my definite purpose. Therefore, I demand of myself persistent, aggressive, and continuous action towards its attainment. The second is vision. You got to have a vision to help build the self-confidence and overcome those fears. One, I realized that the dominating thoughts of my mind eventually reproduce themselves in outward bodily action and gradually transform themselves into physical reality. Therefore, I will concentrate my mind for 30 minutes daily upon the task of thinking of the person I intend to be by creating a mental picture of this person and then transforming that picture into reality through practical service. And this is, I mean, this is, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, hey, that's basically like when you hear Kobe Bryant say, every time I take a shot, I envision myself hitting the shot before I do it.
Yeah.
It's like literally, it's literally, yeah, I get that.
So third is focus, right? I labeled these as focus, right? I know that through the principle of auto-suggestion that any desire I persistently hold in my mind will eventually seek expression through some practical means of realizing it. Therefore, I shall devote 10 minutes daily to demanding of myself the development of the factors named in the 16 lessons on this reading course on the law of success. And fourth, as having a plan, I have clearly mapped out and written down a description of my definite purpose in life for the coming 5 years. I have set a price on my services for each of these 5 years, a price that I intend to earn and receive through strict application of the principle of efficient, satisfactory service, which I will render in advance. And fourth is integrity. Now, this one was the biggest one in my opinion, because again, these laws can apply to anything, right? Whether it's good or bad. But this to me is to suggest we want to use this for good. So fifth, when it comes to integrity, I fully realize that no wealth or position can long endure unless built upon truth and justice. Therefore, I will engage in no transaction which does not benefit all whom it affects. I will succeed by attracting to me the forces I wish to use and the cooperation of other people. I will induce others to serve me because I will first serve them. I will eliminate hatred, envy, jealousy, selfishness, and cynicism by developing love for all humanity, because I know that a negative attitude towards others can never bring me success. I will cause others to believe in me because I will believe in them and in myself. And the last thing is, take action. To take action and this is in the book in Law of Success, and I encourage everyone to do it. So I've started committing these to memory. I've started saying these on a daily basis. And I say, I will sign my name to this formula, commit it to memory, and repeat it aloud once a day with full faith that it will gradually influence my entire life, so I will become a successful and happy worker in my chosen field of endeavor. So guys, thoughts on that, man? Because this to me, well, first, like, are you signing that? Are you signing that along with me? I've signed it already, but are you signing it?
Yeah, I don't have a problem doing it. I will say that in Gimpy, when we first started on this journey, Gimpy identified something. he said that the people on this podcast are higher performance people. And I'm not at all shy about saying that. Okay. Um, so I think there used to be a time in my life where I would have needed that kind of totem. I don't at this point in my life because I can, for example, look at my wife and I can have the fear of my demise, and then it clicks into what I want for her if I'm no longer on this planet. Okay. So a lot of this stuff over time becomes automatic. And I will concede that, yeah, I read Napoleon Hill way back. My mother gave me this book before I graduated high school. And I adopted those principles to the letter. And I would say, since I'm not sleeping on a park bench, I got high speed internet. I think to a degree that it worked, right? Could it have worked better? Could I have been more focused in life? Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to put that out there.
Reason you signing?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
That's not an answer, buddy. I don't see why not.
Well, I mean, again, as Bling said, do I need to? I've told you already. I've read this book before. You even said before we did this about this, like, hey, so from what you're talking about, it seems like you pretty much know what's in the book. So I mean, like, yeah, I would have no reason not to sign it. But I do tell you the last one was pretty much the most interesting to me. Can I be honest with you? And it because I think that was the issue of not last week, but maybe 2 weeks ago, when CT was removed. I remember him specifically saying something to the aspect of, if we'd have met 20 years ago, like we'd rule the world or something like that, because of the aspect of your very last one, which talked about integrity. Not all money's good money. I do believe that. I do believe that, you know, what you put out into the world is really going to come back to you the exact same way, sometimes even worse. So if you're specifically saying, and you wrote it out there and it's great, and you said you sign it, that yeah, whatever I do, whatever I make, however it comes in, will not be stepping on the heads of other people and all of that good stuff, then, you know, that's why, quite frankly, I believe you are where you are today. Because there are people that have stepped on the heads of other people to get to where they want to, and those people aren't even here anymore. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you, what you put out into the world does come back. And the fact that you're saying I'm being integritous in the way that I choose to do this, good stuff, man.
Yeah. What about you, Gimpy?
Yes, I'll sign it, but I still think the integrity thing is laughable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Really?
again, this goes to my whole. So I'm not, even though you told me, but like I said, I don't like this book at all. And I think everybody here, like, I'm glad it gave anybody who used it some wisdom, some valuable, everybody who walks away with some from it. Like, I don't see, I'm afraid now. Here, I have a fear. I have a fear of criticism at this moment. See, you want me to identify it in real time? I have a fear of criticism because I respect the next lieutenant governor of Maryland, and I don't want to say something that minimizes his childhood experience. And, you know, I have a fear of criticism that the audience will think I'm picking on people when I say the next thing I'm about to say. But not for nothing, that integrity shit is hypocrisy out the fucking window, because he sits there and he quotes people like Carnegie and Henry Ford and some of the biggest I broke your neck and spit on your grave to make a buck people as his examples for these different things, right? Like, I interviewed all these people, and all the people he quotes are some of the most, they called them fucking robber barons. Let's be clear. These people that he's emulating these success formulas for had no integrity. You know how they felt better about themselves? They created foundations with their billions. Or their millions, sorry, because back then there weren't billions. But Andrew Carnegie didn't, and Carnegie Steel was not a moral company. They didn't do the right thing. Henry Ford said it all. Everybody can have whatever. Henry Ford's most famous goddamn quote is, "You can have it in any color that you want as long as it comes in black." That's what he told. That's what he thought of his customers.
Well, that was a commercial decision, but Ford more fundamentally than that. And I'll let you. I'll do a Kanye here. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm actually gonna agree with you that Carnegie had Frick, and Carnegie was able to present this benevolent face to the world, while his main man Frick was just a holy terror. All of it co-signed by Carnegie. And hey, Ford,
he was involved.
Well, when Carnegie left the country, Frick was running everything, and you know that was before the cell phone. He wasn't in contact with the dude. But Ford, oh man, you want to look into his history? It goes well beyond just black being the color of the car. I mean, this cat was him and Lindbergh were, you know, I mean,
dude, look,
yeah.
All I'm saying is that, not to minimize anybody's childhood experience or lifetime learning lessons or whatever, this guy's full of shit, man. He is. Napoleon Hill is a pump. Like, dude, the biggest thing that bothered me about this whole chapter, like, so that it, like, to clearly give an understanding, everything he talks about with confidence is about supercharging your confidence. So we, all of us as reasonable people, know that the highest risk to that is becoming hyper narcissistic as a result, right? Like, the ultimate extreme bad is narcissism. So his whole disclaimer is like less than a paragraph at the end, right before he starts giving you like some post lesson shit for 4 pages. He throws in a paragraph about egotism, and he waters down the risk down to like a very palatable, don't worry if everybody thinks you're a raging dick. As long as you're not actually a raging dick, you're okay.
Well, it's just like anything else. I mean, it's just like anything else. You have to apply what he's saying to your moral framework. Integrity.
I get it.
Okay, so this election that I'm involved in, the primary is on June 23rd. On June 24th, I'm going to wake up with my integrity intact. Now, all of the candidates in this can't say that.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm going to wake up with my integrity intact, because I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to cheat. I'm not going to steal. And in this universe, if that means I don't win an election, then that's just what it means, because I'm not going to compromise myself. And look, with the companies that my wife and I have, I'll give you the perfect example. We could make a whole hell of a lot more money if we compromised our values, if we were just a machine with some of these products that we offer. But no, we instead choose to take a lot of time with each client, because this is really tied into that fear of poverty for them, right? So we got to do the right things and explain to them exactly how things work. And you know what? I may never achieve a Learjet. Okay, fine. I got to be able to look myself in the mirror. I look at all these, I'll take it to an extreme example. All of these people that we found out, the depths to which they compromise themselves for a record deal. Okay, to be a one-hit wonder on a radio station, the things that people were willing to do. And you can't tell me they can look themselves in the mirror now that they're in their 50s.
Well, they definitely didn't fear criticism.
Like I said, I don't hear anymore.
Can you imagine that?
What did you say, Reason?
I said, and again, some of them aren't here anymore.
That's true too.
Like, I'm telling you, they, you sell your soul to the devil. It comes with a price.
All right, guys, make sure you go to our Discord. Hey, guys, join the Discord and let us know where you are in this journey as well. The Discord link is in the description box of the video. But I wanted to go back to a comment LJ made a little ways back. She talks about the law of attraction is deeply tied to New Age movement and modern spirituality. It's pagan, and one of the things that I was aware of, or trying to, that I was really considerate of, even going through this process. Shout out to Kung Fu CJ. The next book you should do should be The Millionaire Mind. But thank you, Kung Fu CJ, with the $5 super chat. We appreciate that. So the whole time going through this, I was like, how does this go against my faith? Right? Is there something about the law of success? Is there something about this formula or these behaviors that goes against faith? But at the same time, you guys are constantly saying, well, the Bible says this. Well, the Bible says this. Well, the Bible says that. So again, I'm asking a question, like, how do you reconcile some of these elements with faith? Because there are people that believe, especially church people, that say you can't be successful, like money is bad, or trying to do things like achieve success is evil. So how do you respond to those type of comments? Gimpy.
Well, go ahead.
No, feel free, Chad. Please go ahead.
I'll be really quick on that one. Success isn't just money, like, that's it blows my mind. I mean, for that to be a statement, I think you can be healthy, and that's success for some people, because it's very subjective. So you can't sit here for people to say to you something in the aspect of, how do you expect to be like this when you know what Christians are supposed to be like, poor and this and that, because the love of money is the root of all evil. First, the love of money is the root of all evil. Money is a necessity for life. It's a necessity. You have to pay your bills. I mean, give what's due to Caesar to Caesar. You have to pay your taxes. You know what? Money is a necessity. So the point is, really, it's quite frankly, fuck them. You know what I mean? That's really how I look at it. It's, don't sit here and tell me that what your vision or what your view of how you expect things to be, and just put them on to me, and I'm supposed to accept it. No, it doesn't work like that. I really don't care how your views of me don't matter. Luckily, I don't care. You're not that important. That kind of thing. And that's how I feel about it.
I would ask, what kind of barometer sets the standard for what is pagan? There are definitely a lot of our Christian traditions are derived from pagan celebrations. There were no fir trees in Bethlehem. The Easter egg and the bunny and all that is about fertility, not the birth of Christ, not the resurrection of Christ. So I would be interested in what defines a thing as paganism, because there has to be like a strict definition of what it is. Otherwise, you could take it to all sorts of extents and say, well, air travel, that's not in the Bible. You need a parameter. I'm sure one's out there. So I'm just asking to be enlightened.
I'd just like to, I don't disagree with you, but that's LJ got to tell you that, right? But see, this is where everybody can take whatever the fuck they want from religion. This is one of those things where anybody can pick what they want to pick and say that's what it says, because it also said God's help those who help themselves. There's all sorts of stuff all over the Old Testament, the New Testament, where God calls you to action, and you're meant to act of your own volition in order to get God's grace. You have to choose. In fact, if you go to the Old Testament and you go to the Mount of Sinai and you listen to what the Jews say they listen, they do, and then they listen, right? Nasev and Nishma. That's what it actually says in the original Hebrew, with the acceptance of the 10 Commandments, the Torah, or whatever, the Mount of Sinai experience. I just, it's unrealistic for someone to say that God, that God wants us to be relying on him completely, when the whole thing is everything you do, you're being judged for, all your actions, everything. He wants you to be relying on him is believing in that he has a plan, not that everything in life is going to be handed to you because God's going to will it. God expects you to get out there every single day. And like this version of interpretation leads you to believe that you can have the problem with, there's no problem with money. Money is a tool. The problem is with greed, is where money becomes more important than doing the right thing. Again, I'm not going to rehash everything that Chad said, but money is a tool. Ambition is only bad when ambition becomes more important than morality. It's not that ambition is bad, it's an excess. What makes a bad king, according to the Old Testament? Excess wealth, excess booze, excess women. At the end of the day, the law of success saying that you can manifest your thing is exactly in line with what God wants from you. God wants you to get up there every motherfucking day and go out there and live life. In the garden, name every animal. That's an active way of living. He wants you to go out there, find everything in the world, examine it, understand it, and make it knowledge. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, I think that kind of leads to a lot. Again, a lot of, particularly, I think Christian church. I think because we're told the love of money is for the love of money is the root of all evil, right? But then it kind of gets simplified that having money is evil, right? But then you hear in the Bible the story of talents, right? Then you think about kind of repetition where it says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, right? So and that comes through repeating of what you believe, right? So as you think about yourself, as you think in your heart, right, that's who you are, right? So I just think there's so many, and again, this is why they are principles, right? And because a law could work for good or a law could work for bad, right? You could use gravity. I mean, you can use a hammer, for example. A hammer hammers, but you can beat somebody up with it, or you can drill a nail down. And I think that's why the integrity piece is important for people like us to consider. But far as the law of success, you are who you hang around. As a man thinketh in his heart, the story of the talents. There's just so many more examples in the Bible that are more in line, from what I see, with the principles of success than against it.
And
Can I ask you guys a question?
Let me say this real quick. Let me say this very quickly. LJ says, not through magic. The Bible speaks to faith. Hebrews 11:1. The substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Now, that's the Bible. And there are other passages in the Bible. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you could move mountains. That's certainly not magic. That is the power of faith. And now Hill may have repackaged it, renamed it, as others have. Tony Robbins, on and on and on. But at its core, if we do as LJ kind of suggests here and look at it from a biblical standpoint, aren't we talking about faith? And it goes further, because the Bible does say faith without works. So it's not magic. You can't just sit in your room and hope. Faith without works is death.
I just saw something that LJ, I had a question for you guys because of a statement that okay, there it is. Yeah. Logic, the law of success can contradict the Christian faith in key areas, primarily by shifting the focus from God's sovereignty to human self-reliance and redefining the purpose of life. I have a question for you guys. If you guys study for a test and you study for it for an entire week and you ace it, is that God?
Depends on what subject it is.
Yeah. I mean, for real.
Yes,
Because say again.
No, no. God
No.
has given us
yes.
tools.
Wait.
God gave you the opportunity to sit there, study, learn all that shit. See, you're trying to say
No,
that
no.
God
Okay,
has
okay. Wait.
passed my
Hold on,
grade.
hold on,
No.
hold on,
God
Reason. You
has
got to let
handed
him
me.
respond. Reason. You got to let him
No,
respond.
no. But
Hold on, Reason.
the
You got to let him.
response
Reason. You got to let Gimpy respond.
Well, I was actually responding, but
Okay.
go right
I was
ahead.
going to say
Gimpy.
something about logic in the aspect of response.
All
Okay.
right, look, all I'm saying is never mind. You know what?
All right, look, let me
Go
take
ahead.
this. Look, God woke you
Go
up
ahead.
in your right mind. You have a brain. You have the use of your limbs. Okay. This gets into free will. Is God orchestrating every single action that we take, or do we have free will? So if we have free will, then you can study for the test. Okay. Maybe you have a natural aptitude for the subject. Okay. I think that is more personal determinism than it is divine intervention. The daily goings on, because if you're going to take that route, then the furthest extent would be Jeffrey Dahmer was somehow being orchestrated by God Almighty, and I don't believe that.
Okay, so my opposite of that is to what Gimpy said then. So if you drink an entire fifth of vodka, jump into a car, drive, and kill somebody, then is that the devil? Because
that was
because when does it get to a point in which we're responsible for our actions?
You're always
That's what I'm getting at.
See, that's what the problem is here. This is what I was trying to say before everybody jumped on top of me. So I'll try again. You keep aligning that God is an active hand. God is your video game guy, right? God is a passive trait on the universe, not an active trait on the universe. Everything is in the hand of God. Like you want to say God, devil, whatever. You want to make these semantic delineations about what deity aspect, whatever. Fine. I'm Jewish, man. Mine's simple. I only got one.
Okay.
So God is passive game trait to the whole universe. So when you go out and study, yes, this God
I really
sets
love
the
this
board.
comment. I
and we
really
choose
love this
the
comment. Yeah.
I like this comment. This is the best comment all day. But that's what I'm saying. God is in everything. God was that when you, to Tyrone's thing, God is that you have a natural talent, a natural aptitude, right? Who gave you that natural aptitude? God. To you, Chad, you got to study all week. Why was it that magically all of a sudden your job didn't need you? That, you know, you work 2 jobs to help pay the bills because your mom is sick and your dad only earns so much, right? How was it you were able to get all this studying done? Magically, it worked out that you showed up to the test even though you had a flat tire that morning. Whatever it is, dude, it's a passive trait on the universe that got you to that end point. That's why God is as equally responsible for the bad as the good in the universe, right? You see what I'm saying? It's just a standard passive trait on everything. So you're looking at it that God got to actively be in. No, God is like, if you ever saw that episode of Futurama where Bender meets God, he says it. God is doing his job best when you don't know that God did anything at all. Like if everybody has never seen that episode where Bender's floating through space and ends up meeting God, or a computer that collided with God, making fun of that whole Star Trek thing, go check it out because it gives you a good perspective on like how we see, like from our concept on it, like individually as humans. But like if God's doing his job or her job, whatever you want to say, you'll never know. It'll feel normal. If it's true, if it's all accurate, God is the baseline. We're all extrapolations from that baseline.
Yeah.
So that's all I mean.
So Reason, do you maintain that position?
Do I maintain that position?
Yeah.
I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you're going to ask a question.
No, go ahead.
I believe still. Sure, I get that, but I think when you go about it that way, then that means it's just an inordinately easy way to remove self accountability. That's just how I believe.
I didn't hear So are you saying if you believe God did something versus the devil did something,
Yeah,
or
then
the devil said, then you're removing
then you're
self
just removing
accountability?
all your self accountability. I'm sitting here like we got and getting to a point. I know God.
So you
steps
agree with
in.
Gimpy then?
Yeah, I'm saying God will step in if there is nothing we could do about it. Like what Al Gimpy was sitting here, like I guess another way of saying is, yeah, how did you get that entire week off? If there's nothing we can do about it, then that's a God thing. That's why I said buying a house isn't a God thing. It's a good credit score and having a down payment. You know what I mean? But if all of a sudden, you know what, I lose my job and then I get the house for free, that would technically be something that's completely out of my control. There's nothing I could have done about that. That you could sit here and be like, all right, you know, understood.
I even would push back on that, because that would then presuppose that God has folk that he says, oh, well, I don't mind if this guy's homeless through no fault of his own. He lost his job 6 months ago. His wife left him. His dog died. But I'm going to put your name into the sweepstakes for the brand new single family home.
But then the other
Wait,
side of that would
hold
be
on,
then.
hold on. I just want to understand Tyrone's position. I'm unclear. Are you saying that God, from our perspective, doesn't do things that look totally arbitrary?
Not on the level of financial gain. I don't think so. And the
Oh,
reason,
okay. I'm just
the reason
asking.
I
Look,
say
dude,
that,
I'm not.
the reason I say that is because God existed in this universe long before we created money or a
Yeah,
means
okay.
of exchange.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean anything to him. And God existed long
Why it
before the
exists in his
creation
universe.
of single family homes. Okay, God was okay with us living in caves or in trees at one point.
No,
So
Yeah.
I was just
Again,
using that as an example of something
no, I
that's
get
out
it.
of our
I get it.
control. Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
you really don't believe that bad people who don't deserve wealth have wealth, and good people who do deserve wealth are poor? Like, you don't
What do
believe
you
that
mean I don't
that's.
believe that?
No.
Are
I'm
you
trying to
an
understand because you basically said that God.
But that's not a
I
question of
heard
whether
your
or not I
example correct.
believe it. That's something that is evident. It exists. Bad people sometimes have a lot of resources, and very,
Right,
very
and
good
good people who deserve better sometimes have shit, right? Like, you agree
True.
that right. So, and from our perspective, it can look totally arbitrary, right? Like that the one person totally doesn't deserve their success, while the other person totally does deserve to be successful and isn't, right? Like, from us, it can look like that. But then, so isn't that proving that God? I'm I'm sorry, I don't
No.
understand your
Isn't it
position
proving that
properly.
God what? Finish your sentence.
That God does, from where we sit, because we can't speak for what God's motivations are, acts arbitrarily in the terms of finances. I
Well,
mean, people
that
who
would
should be
contradict.
rich are poor, and people who should be poor are rich. You just said that. So I
That would
don't understand.
contradict what you said a few minutes ago,
No.
in that God is in the background
Yeah, on everything. And he does things that
on
may look
everything.
arbitrary to us, but have purpose, including
Well,
horrible
look,
things. I said
we
that,
will.
that the bad things
If
will happen to you.
your position is that God intervenes and uh, gives certain people financial advantage and doesn't give it to others, if that is your position, then we disagree.
Yes, I think that God tilts the scale however God wants, because God
So
wants to.
God
I don't
made
speak to God's
Harvey
will.
Weinstein wealthy.
I mean,
Uh,
you think that? Hold on, wait. So you're saying that something happened, and I'm just
No,
asking.
you're saying
Not
that.
a
I'm
judgment.
saying
Hold
God
on,
is
let me ask.
not concerned with that.
Let me ask the question. It's
Uh-huh.
just a question.
Sure.
But you're saying that someone who's a horrible human being does
Uh-huh.
terrible, terrible things. Let's say a drug dealer, like a vicious El
Harvey
Chapo.
Weinstein, Jeffrey Dahmer,
Oh,
whatever.
okay, Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey
Okay.
Weinstein, all these
Yeah,
guys,
yeah, yeah.
whatever, all combined into one. God just let them make their money. He
Apparently
just
so.
ignored it. Like, okay, I'm just not gonna, right? Like, my will is everywhere and infinite. I'm omnipotent and omniscient. But you horrible human who is stacking dollars, that's outside my purview, because I don't intervene on your
No.
financial. I'm just trying to understand the
Gimpy.
position.
the
Okay,
Bible
I'm going to
specifically says
explain it
God
to you.
blesses
Now,
saints and
you
sinners
guys
alike.
have to actually give me an opportunity to
Go
respond
ahead, please. I'm sorry.
uninterrupted.
Well, can you read the super chat first?
Yeah, sure. If I do everything so that God gets the glory, my riches will be my riches will give him glory. Kung Fu CJ, thank you for the $5 super chat. And look, it's okay if we disagree on this. It's fine. I do not believe that God is actively involved in the financial gain of individual human beings. I think that if God wanted to intervene, understanding what I've been taught about God, that intervention would probably first say kill Kim Jong-un so food aid could get to the North Koreans. I would put that on a scale that is above and beyond. Again, I'm going to go to Joel Osteen's church and pray for a blessing after I give my 20% gross. Or is it 10? Whatever. And then God is going to give me a car. I'm sorry, but if that's God, you got to pay him, and then he'll bless you. Okay, you could be a shitbag all you want.
So that's where my question is
hold
whether
on.
hold on, let me chime in. That's where my question is whether something is a law, right? It's just a principle, and anybody can use this, right? For example, if a bad person or a good person develops a habit of saving, should the bad person that was saving, should that habit not benefit them, right? So I think what's happening is that certain people, there are good people that don't save money, right? I mean, and if you saying, well, this good person deserves wealth, and I'm just kind of using wealth as just a simple metric here. If you're saying this good person deserves wealth, but they haven't developed a habit of saving, how do they deserve wealth where that bad person is just using the same principles?
Look,
Can I respond to that?
Expand this globally. Take it out of the United States of America, because there's some devoted Coptic Christians in Ethiopia that don't have a damn thing. Okay, they get up in the morning and try to figure out how are we going to eat. All right, and I believe that God loves them just as much as He loves somebody over here, Elon Musk, who's got more money than anybody else in
Right,
the
but
world.
you're saying that God didn't
Hold on, were you finished?
Go ahead, Gimpy.
I'm sorry. Like,
No,
I'm very confused because either God is everywhere and everything.
Just because you are omniscient and
omnipotent
does not mean
nothing happens within
that
your
does not
universe
mean that you're pulling the
purview.
strings.
No, like, for example, you're giving a lot of. So my problem with my inability to understand your position comes from the fact that you keep speaking for God's will.
No, I
God
was
wants,
very explicit.
no. From my perspective,
one at a time, guys.
I was very explicit about saying my understanding.
Right. No, I understand it's your understanding. I'm trying to understand it. And what I'm having a problem with is that God is all knowing and all seeing and all powerful. And everything is within his purview, which we both agree is the baseline, right? Like, we're starting from the same point.
Correct.
Then nothing can happen that isn't within the rationale of God. God willed it. Nothing can happen by accident.
I don't know about
right?
willed it, but he foresaw it.
You want to argue over that? That's fine. I'm not. My point is that everything is within the reach of God, right? So you wanted to say that, like, if it was up to your prayer thing, the priority would be to feed the North Koreans. No, because God, you're speaking to that God doesn't exactly want the North Koreans to be exactly how it is this way, because it serves a greater purpose for a bigger picture that we're totally unaware of. Because in the tapestry of life, you and I are a couple of threads that limit our visibility to the threads around us, where God is the artisan drawing creating the tapestry. So we have no idea what the whole picture really looks like. So my point is that God is actively not in the sense that God is here, have some money person. God is not using their will to interfere with the bad person making wealth or to help the good person who deserves it make wealth. Why? Because it's part of a bigger thing we don't understand, not because God's just letting it pass. You're saying that God is just letting it pass from, I'm trying to understand.
Do you believe that?
Hold on, let me ask. Are you trying to convince him or
No, I'm
because
just trying to
I'm
clarify.
trying to understand
Okay,
his
okay.
position. I don't
Yeah.
understand it, because if
I
God
think
is all
right.
knowing and God is all powerful, how are there things that happen within God's purview that aren't of God's will? In the passive sense, not in the active,
Let me
in the
answer
passive.
that. Let me answer that. Let me try to answer that. Do you believe that just because a being is omnipresent, totally omniscient, that also means that you don't have free will?
No, you do have free
Okay.
will from our perspective.
So if you are Harvey Weinstein, a sick, depraved person, but
Yeah.
you go out, just a second, you go out and you create value in the world of cinema, and that brings money into your pocket. You're operating within the laws of man.
Yes.
Okay, now you might have something different waiting for you when it comes time for the laws of God to take over once you check out of here. But their history is replete with all kinds of people who were obviously not operating within God's plan that have enormous wealth
No,
throughout the history of our
Sure.
species. So are you saying
Sure.
that God was responsible for giving them that?
Yes, God is responsible
Okay.
for everything that happens on
Okay.
earth for all a period of time. Like that's what omnipotent and omniscient
No,
combined
that's
means.
not what that means.
no, let's
That's not what that
ask the
means.
chat. Hey guys in the chat, do you agree with Gimpy
All
that
knowing and all powerful. That's
that
what
God
those two things mean.
It
God
does
is
not mean you
actively
abdicate your
hold
free
on,
will.
guys. The hey guys in the chat, do you agree with Gimpy that God is in control,
Full-time passive
full
status effect on life.
full control,
That's-
or do you agree with Tyrone that God has a passive role in the events of the day? So we'll leave it right there because I want to see what you guys say in the chat. Because hey guys, but we're getting out of here tonight. Again, we are doing a journey through the law of success and just doing a live action experiment to see if these principles still work in 2026. And I'm a believer that they do, and I think part of that is just faith in because a lot of it comes from biblical. This is nothing new, as many people have stated, but just being actively involved in this and doing it. So we'll see how this goes. Real quick, shifting gears, I wanted to just say, we were off last week. And we were celebrating my 40th birthday. And we had a couple of people come into town to celebrate with us. That's me with KJ and Shelly. And look at the Do Funny advocate himself and the Jew that showed up, who was culturally appropriate. So
Nice shirt.
the dress
Hey,
code
dude,
to
I
the
prove
park.
my people have no respect for the
Yes,
white
please share it. I'll pull it up here, or if you can pull it up. But
No, I gotta find-
so the dress code for the party was to wear a white shirt. It was a white shirt and shades party. You can see I am, and Shelly's also a rebel, but we'll address that later. But that was
that's not white. That's like light pink.
well, she doesn't have white, or something like that. I don't know.
So
But it was tan.
followed
It
your
was tan.
instructions. Okay. All right. There you
But
go.
the only person missing was Soldiers, and I guess the invite got stuck in his inbox, and he never clicked it. But I'll forgive him. He sent me a text last week. Hey, do we have a show? No, buddy. Let's scroll up. But guys, this has been probably the greatest week of my life. I'll say that, or one of the greatest weeks of my life. I turned 40. I was in the room celebrating with a lot of family and friends. My mom, my wife put on an incredible party. I was in the room with, some people that have inspired me. And I did share a story there about the gentleman who inspired me. His name is Christian David. And it was just the belief that he has in me, and that same way I wish to inspire others as well. So, and that's kind of led us down this path to doing the show this way, talking a little less about the politics, because at the end of the day, the last 50 years, as Jim Rome says, will be about the same as the next 50 years. But it takes people like us that, believe in America, believe in, freedom, believe in that we have the ability to achieve, to kind of pass that on to the next generation. So my goal is, again, Classic Men Changing the World is us inspiring that next generation to do something great. And not to mention, we got the next lieutenant governor on this podcast, right? So there's definitely going to be some, I just think there's just big things coming from this group of guys. And he said, I'm standing in front. No, I'm actually standing slightly behind CT.
That's just how small but I sent it to you on Instagram.
Okay. You don't have the link? You just put it on here.
Yeah, Kung Fu.
I have my phone.
Yeah. Kung Fu with the $2 2% says the rain falls on the just and unjust. You were 100% right. That's said it in Matthew 54, 53, something like that. I never got a chance to actually talk about that because I was
just
trying
want to say though that my shirt,
were killing. But
this
you are
paisley
correct.
gold and black shirt is very, very snappy. I am exceptionally
I like
well
that shirt. No, I like that shirt.
Hold on,
like
man.
that
How do I
shirt.
change?
Looks like CT is Tubbs called from Miami Vice, wants his outfit back.
Dude, that jacket is
man.
fucking banger. It had
Oh no, that was a good jacket.
material it was
Okay.
made out of was really nice, dude.
It was a
That
fly
white jacket
yeah.
is made out of nice Bahama material. You could
Oh
wear
no,
it down.
that's like Tubbs used to wear the what was it? The linen.
Yes,
Yeah,
linen.
yeah, it was a linen jacket.
Linen.
Yes.
It's a linen dress jacket.
He's got a sawed-off shotgun in his breast pocket, just like Tubbs.
Yeah.
Hold on, man. I got to get this link. Here we go. Copy link.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, because you guys, you got to see this, man. Because Gimpy was completely on brand.
I did exactly what my people do when they're invited to white parties. And he didn't believe me, so my wife found proof.
Yeah, this was funny. Hold on. I'm about to pull it up here in just a second. What is
Thank you.
this
Thank
say?
you, the S Files. I appreciate it.
Hold on.
Yeah, linen with the wrinkles. You're right. It's like, just it really only works in Miami or the South.
But you gotta be like tropical.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Dang it.
No, that is not it. That is that white man.
I don't want to copyright.
I was cultural. My people have no respect for the white party. It's clear. No respect whatsoever for the white party.
Oh man, tangerine and lemon showed up. But yeah, Gippy was completely on brand, showing up at the party with this. What is it? Paisley?
Golden paisley.
Paisley
Gold.
shirt.
Yeah. And I looked best. I was the best dressed there. Just hate to break it to you all.
Nah, I mean, I had it. I was holding it down, bro.
Dude, I don't know how you drank that goblet of tequila.
Hold on.
That goblet of tequila. That right there.
Yeah, I mean, it was mostly ice.
Full.
It was mostly
That
ice,
was
man.
full. No,
Huh?
it was not. It was full.
It was ice.
Yeah, right. I saw that thing. It was, dude, that was drunk man walking.
No, man, I was good. Hold on, let me find one more picture, man. Hold on.
That's good and drunk.
Hold on. Here's a good one. Here's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the wife and I.
What are you doing? Funky chicken? What is that?
Oh,
Dude, I don't want to know what he's doing.
oh my goodness.
Chadwick is the only one in 2026 still wearing a belt clip.
Yep. Yep. to a formal event.
Oh boy. Oh man. But we had a great time. I will say, man, it was such a great time just to fellowship. And then my mom, my sister were in town for the week. They just left this morning. My daughter graduated grade last night. But yeah, it's been such a great yeah, it's just been such a great week. I'm truly blessed to turn 40, and there's no doubt about that. But guys, closing thoughts. Give me closing thoughts, man. What you got to say, bro?
Only monkeys litter.
Yep.
I'm good.
Reason.
All good. I'm here. I'm happy. I'm alive. I'm healthy. None could be better.
Amen, brother.
And one more real quick before you go, Tyrone. Here's me and my mom.
Aww.
Me and my mom.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh,
She made the trip.
I think she actually likes Gimpy better than you.
I told him that his family likes me better than him now.
Very cool.
Get out of here. All right. See, reason. I mean, God dang it,
Triggered.
soldiers.
Triggered.
See, so what you got going on this week, man? Closing thoughts, bro.
Well, just more campaigning, and I am going to stop by a local McDonald's to get the McChicken Deluxe. Man, this is a good sandwich. Okay, I'm just telling you.
Is it really chicken though?
Hey, look, you know,
The McChicken Deluxe.
Soylent Green maybe, but it's delicious.
Oh wow!
And again, where will we all be in 100 years? Might as well get yourself a chicken sandwich.
Oh, there you go.
You know where I'll be in 100 years? Probably sitting in this seat listening to you, man.
100 years from now, Gimpy, I see you in 100 years from now. Your your head will be in one of those glass cages and like.
Oh, I want to be
transported.
Drama.
So
I want to be right next to you in the head in the hall of heads of dead presidents. I want to sit right next to Nixon.
That's Futurama, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys, it's been great hanging out with you guys today. Guys, remember, we are going through the Law of Success. If you haven't grabbed the book, make sure you grab it. If you haven't joined the Discord, just share your progress, share your journey. Definitely open to the feedback. That's the best way to communicate with us is on the Discord. Let us know what's going on. Let us know the feedback. Let us know how we can improve. I'm always open to improvement and suggestions and things like that. So without further ado, only monkeys litter, and we are out. Peace.
Peace.